Welcome to Crypto Convo. Today, we're going to talk about the power of cryptocurrency. I have with me expert Justin Recla, and he is a cryptocurrency due diligence expert. We'll explain to you what that means in just a second. But before we get started, I want to make sure that you guys share this with anybody that you know who is in the cryptocurrency space, anybody who's interested in getting in the cryptocurrency space, or anybody who has no idea what it is and you really think that they should learn what it is. So share this out right now. And then my name is Linda West, and I belong to a program called Stigula Success Mastery. And I'd love for you to attend one of our meetings by going to attendssm.com, sign up. We're in San Diego, and I'd love for you to join me. So let's get started now. We're talking about cryptocurrency. And I have with me, again, this is Justin Recla, and he's a cryptocurrency due diligence expert. And he spent 13 years he has 13 years of experience in advanced training with the U.S. Army and federal government. He's done tactical questioning, surveillance, counter-espionage, threat and vulnerability assessments. You name it, he's done it. And what I love most about Justin is that he really wants to find out the truth about the different cryptocurrencies and share that information with us. So Justin, welcome. Today, I'm excited to talk about the power of cryptocurrency, and I have no idea what you have in store for us. So let's hear it.
Awesome. Thanks for reconnecting with us. It's been a while since we've done one of these. I think we've both been very busy. So I love the fact that we're able to reconnect right now. And, cryptocurrency is still a hot commodity. It's still got a lot of traction. A lot of people are still talking about it. It continues to have its ups and downs. Bitcoin's been going sideways, for the last couple of weeks. But I think we're getting ready for another dip, which is a good thing. People don't think just because a dip's coming doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's, hold on tight, buy low.
How is it a good thing? How is it a good thing?
Well, it allows people but no, it's just the nature of the market. And then really in order for, if you look at the history of Bitcoin and all the other currencies, in order for them to really go up again, they have to come down and they have to find support at a lower level first. And so it's just part of the cycle, and again, it's a great time to get in because when it does go up, it's a great time to make a lot of money in the markets, especially if you're trading the major coins. Do you have any like projection or thought as to how low it might go? I know you can't predict, but it's all speculations. There's talks that it's going to find support again around 5,000 or 6,000. I've heard numbers as low as 3,500.
Okay.
I'm all for the $3,500 price point.
I know.
For Bitcoin. That would be awesome, because it gives an opportunity to buy in low and for people to make a decent amount of money. But more importantly than that is the fact that we've seen some stabilization in the hype, right? There was a lot of hype at the end of 2017 around Bitcoin and the price. It just tiptoed up to 20,000 and then it crashed. Well, there's all sorts of reasons why it crashed. There's a lot of people that got involved. They bought in at 19,000 and then they sold when it bottomed out. And so there were a lot of people that got in that shouldn't have gotten in because they don't understand cryptocurrency or they don't understand trading, and they're just not they're not a good fit for the level of risk that comes with getting involved in cryptocurrency investing. But we're talking about the power of cryptocurrency, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Cryptocurrency in of itself, blockchain technology, all of it combined is really, really powerful for two reasons. One, it's helping businesses that have emerging technologies, disruptive technologies, really do things differently and presenting opportunities that by utilizing blockchain technology that allow them to operate in transparency and bring in a decent amount of capital on the front end to really get their projects moving.
Can you explain what disruptive technology would be?
Absolutely. So just like Uber has disrupted the taxi cab driving industry, right? Uber is the largest transportation company in the world, and it doesn't own a single taxi.
Right.
It doesn't own a single vehicle. That's disruptive technology. The same way Amazon disrupted the big box stores. Everybody's been seeing in the news recently. Toys R Us is now out of business. And
Yeah.
that's because online selling like Amazon has knocked it out. And so there's a lot of new ways of doing business that blockchain technology is allowing for and creating the space for. A lot of it in the banking industry, a lot of it in the health and welfare industries, mainly because of the transparency piece. Not only that, but more importantly, is it really empowers the individual, right? Because individuals are now going to be able to participate in these different businesses, and they're going to be able to track what's going on in that business because of the blockchain, because of the transparency. That public ledger is so important, and adds a lot of credibility to what a business is doing because you can follow it. So the power of cryptocurrency as far as a business is concerned is it is really giving business owners the opportunity to connect with their public in a way that businesses in the past have not been able to do. So I think that first and foremost is huge. And so whether or not they actually create a token or a currency itself, the blockchain chain technology behind cryptocurrency is super powerful.
Okay, so they can be involved with the blockchain technology or use blockchain technology without having an actual coin named after their company or whatever.
Absolutely. There are businesses out there that are not developing coins, but they are using blockchain technology as a means of tracking what they're doing in the business. Because you don't have to create a coin to do blockchain. Blockchain is literally a ledger system that can allow a company to operate in full transparency without having a coin. Now, my opinion is that doing an ICO and creating a coin for your business is a great way of not only raising capital, but giving individuals an opportunity to participate in your platform. And depending on what your platform is, depending on what your business model is, you may or may not need a coin. If the coin's got utility, great. If it doesn't, fine. But there's so many different things that you can do with blockchain, and cryptocurrency is just one of them.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so the currency that's being used, which are the coins, is not necessarily the blockchain, but the coin. Let me see if I understand this correctly. The coins are in the blockchain, or no?
Yes. So you if you're going to have a coin, you always have a blockchain. But if you're using blockchain, you don't always need a coin.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Cool. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. The whole thing is kind of confusing because you can't really see it. It's not tangible. It's all in the ethers, right? So I'm a tangible type of person. I learn better tactilely. So for me to fully grasp the concept of it, I have to really think about it hard and grasp it in my head and actually draw a picture in my head of what it looks like.
Absolutely.
So I can see what it looks like. So you explaining this to me kind of helps me to see the separation of the two. So I really appreciate that explanation. I had no idea that you could have a product in the blockchain but not have a coin. I thought they just went hand in hand. So that's great. That's great.
Good stuff. Yeah, you can actually use the blockchain technology just to create a ledger for your business that keeps accountability of the transactions and stuff that you're using in your business, depending on what you're holding, whatever systems that you're holding accountable. The coin is just an interface for businesses to use it as a means of raising capital and having it publicly traded. There's a lot of companies that have moved away from stock offerings, and they have a true security behind their coin, and the performance of the coin, the value of the coin is tied to the performance of the business itself. And the companies don't even issue stock. The matter of fact, the communication group, Telegram, it's a peer-to-peer communication device, recently did an ICO. They're issuing their own token, and within 3 hours, they raised $1.6 billion.
Billion.
With the B, in commitments. And should they actually collect all the funds that from the commitments that they received, in that it will literally make it the largest capital raise in history. So it's a powerful thing to be a part of. Yeah, 1.6.
Where is the Recla coin?
The Recla coin?
Do you have a Recla coin?
Soon.
Really, you're doing it? Okay.
No. I mean, we're involved in a lot of ICOs from the corporate counterintelligence space, helping those businesses mitigate their risk. There's a lot of risk on the business side from a corporate espionage, IP protection, social engineering that needs to be taken into consideration when you are introducing a disruptive technology to the business world, especially a technology that is going to disrupt an industry that's and interfere with some major players that have had control over those industries for the last 50, 60, 75 years or so. So the counterintelligence realm where we come in and assist adds a whole layer of protection, not only for the business itself, but for the investors that are involved.
So how does a person make sure, I know like do your own due diligence, but how do you do due diligence if you don't know how to do due diligence? So how do I find out if, there's thousands of coins out there? How do I find out if this one is one that's not a Ponzi scheme? This is one that's not a scam. How do I find that out?
I just gave a keynote speech at an event in Dallas, and this is one of the topics that we were talking about, is that in business, and just business in general, prior to cryptocurrency coming along, there were certain indicators of success, right? Of what made a successful business, what was going to suggest whether or not the business was going to have the ability to succeed. And it was very formulaic, right? And complex, but still formulaic. If this, then that, and this they go here, and this risk there, and so forth. Well, along comes cryptocurrency, and now it's complicated the potential risk there even more, because now you have to take into consideration, are they doing an ICO? Are they going to have a coin? What kind of blockchain are they using? Are they using Bitcoin? Are they using Litecoin? Do they have their own coin? Are they using a privacy blockchain? There's all these types of things that go in, that get involved with it. And now you have to take all the complexities, and now you have to throw that into the mix. So one of the easiest things that you can do is, one, study and understand how the technology works. Understand blockchain, and then look at it as to how the business is applying it to the opportunity. Okay.
Well, before we go there, is there a blockchain for dummies or blockchain 101 or something like that? I would love that.
Yeah, matter of fact, if you go to our cryptocurrency due diligence group in Facebook, if you search for blockchain 101, it's a post, and under that post is, I don't know, 10 or 12, I don't know how many there are in there now, post in the comments section of what is Bitcoin, how does mining work, what is blockchain, how does blockchain work, and so forth. That will give you the basic understandings of blockchain technology. Now, of course, now you throw in things like Monero or other privacy coins that are using a very complex blockchain that work a little bit different. Now you got to dive into those and understand them a little bit more. But just studying it first off is a great place to start. Is dive into it, especially if you're an entrepreneur. It's a great way to start researching how you might be able to use blockchain technology for yourself. But once you've understood that, once you understand the technology, then it's understanding the business model. Does the business model work? Right? Have the people behind it actually built businesses before? Does everything check out? And in doing that due diligence, making sure that they're actually hitting their milestones, making sure that they're communicating. One of the biggest risks is when you look at these ICOs, because here's the biggest risk in the ICO world, and when you're going to invest in ICOs, is that to create an ICO, all it takes is some kid in his mom's basement with a computer who knows how to code, puts up a good website, can write a white paper because they're not that difficult to write, and next thing you know, boom, there's an ICO, but there's really nobody behind it. And we've seen ICOs that actually have put a page up, and they've listed their team members, right? And then all they've done is gone to the internet and pulled images of people into the team slots on their website. Matter of fact, we came across one last week that what was the name of it? I have to remember the name of it, but it was a picture of Ryan Seacrest, and he was their tech developer.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding.
Okay, so so that exists out there, and so there simple things like that, right? It's just educating yourself with who are the people behind it, and unfortunately, there are cases where there are ICOs out there where they even put together a really good-looking white paper, and they don't. The people there they're not real. They don't exist. So depending on how much money you're putting into that ICO is extremely, extremely important. And like Mike just said, compliance with the SEC, 100% agree. Absolutely. SEC compliance is huge. That's a big thing right now in the ICO space. And while we can argue and discuss back and forth whether or not all coins are securities, because there are coins and tokens out there that are charity coins, or coins out there that are utility coins. Some level of regulation is super, super important, specifically because the unsavvy investor who's not going to do their due diligence, that will remortgage their home.
Oh, I won't do that.
That will remortgage their home is going to find themselves in trouble. And so, regulation is good, and there's going to be some development changes and stuff. I mean, we're already seeing that in Wyoming. Wyoming's letting ICOs that have a true utility, they're not considering those as security. And so, there's some.
When you say utility, what do you mean exactly?
That meaning that the coin is actually tied to the ecosystem of the business itself, meaning that it can only be used within the ecosystem of that business, and it's not necessarily tied to the performance of the business. So, case in point, there's an online casino that is filed for its ICO in Wyoming, and it's it is a utility coin, because essentially you're able to buy their coin, and it's what you gamble with on their online casino, right? So it's got true utility. Its value is not going to be tied to the performance of that business. And so there's still going to be a lot of things that come up. I would imagine that the federal SEC is probably going to challenge that ruling in federal court at some point in the future. But at the end of the day, it's a whole new way of doing business that's empowering business owners. And what I love about it for the individual is that it is empowering the individual to take back self-dominion over their own financial well-being, and to get out of the old systems.
Well, how does this play with the IRS and taxes? Because I know I've been seeing people asking questions about how does this work for your taxes and stuff. So, because not all of the coins are in the U.S. Actually, a lot of them are not in the U.S. So, how does that play into our taxes?
That's a great question, and this is where the complexities come into play, because the SEC considers cryptocurrency as a security. The Commodities Exchange Commission looks at it as a commodity. You have FinCEN, who says that if you are an ICO and you accept Bitcoin, you have to be registered with as a money transfer, right? And it is there's a lot of confusion out there. The IRS looks at cryptocurrency as a property, right? And it is taxed as a property. And in 2016, of all the people that were involved in cryptocurrency inside of the United States, only 6% of people reported earnings, gains, and losses from cryptocurrency and from Bitcoin. The problem with it is that if you ever get audited and it's discovered that you have Bitcoin and you did not report it, they'll get you for tax evasion. And it's something ridiculous, like a $100,000 fine and 5 years in prison. And so one of the things that we did with our team is we saw that as a huge risk, and we brought in one of our team members is a cryptocurrency accountant, and he helps people mitigate the risk and understanding their tax liabilities when filing their taxes if they've taken losses and gains with cryptocurrency, not just Bitcoin but cryptocurrency as a whole. Because a lot of people think, well, I'm good because of the anonymity that Bitcoin provides. Wrong answer. Because if you are purchasing it on an exchange, which most people are, those exchanges have a reporting requirement to the IRS. And if you've made over $20,000 worth of gains in Bitcoin, you will get a 1099. And if you do not report it, that's tax evasion.
Well, let me ask a question about that, because no, we're not talking about the tax laws or anything like that, but just a general question out there is, my understanding is I don't have to pay any taxes on the money unless I actually take it out. So like for example, if I had a stock in it, or a mutual fund, and I earned a lot of money in that mutual fund this year, but I didn't take it out, I haven't really had any gains.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, my team member, Elmer Howard, you can come find us within, you can find him inside of our group at cryptocurrencyduediligence.com, or you can find him at dollars and cents, SENSE, bookkeeping.com, dollarsandcentsbookkeeping.com. He is definitely the go-to expert in this. But the way he explains it is that whenever you first purchase cryptocurrency, it creates a baseline for where you came in at, and then you generate a gain or a sale when a gain or a loss when you sell the coin, right? So depending on when the gain or loss is actually actualized, meaning when you sell it, that's when it is when it's taken into consideration. And so if you sell cryptocurrency, you buy it today and you sell it for a gain 3 months from now, then it's taxed as a short-term gain. But if you buy it and hold on to it for 365 days plus 1 day, it's got to be 366 days, and it is taxed as a long-term gain. So, and then there's a lot of complexities even more when you get into mining and so forth. So if you have any questions, it is tax season. I highly recommend that you reach out to our group, cryptocurrencyduediligence.com. Find Elmer Howard in the group, reach out to him direct, or send me a message, and I'm happy to connect you with him as well, because it's the amount of risk to yourself just not worth it if you've got any gains. Now, the beautiful thing is that you can take losses against it as well, and there's ways to transact with it in as a business that allow you to write off certain transactions. And so Elmer can help guide you on that, and he's absolutely brilliant in that space. Matter of fact, he spoke with me in Dallas at this most recent event, and had a lot of great questions from the audience, because a lot of people didn't realize that you have to report your income from cryptocurrency. So, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't get involved with it just because it's going to potentially create tax responsibilities for yourself. Because there's a lot of money to be made in that space right now if you know how to mitigate your risk.
Yeah, so join the Cryptocurrency Due Diligence Facebook page for sure. Yep. And then also on your cryptocurrencyduediligence.com page, you have a white paper there that people can download.
Yep.
And you want to share with them what's on that white paper, just like so they know why they should go there?
Absolutely. It's essentially the top 5 myths of cryptocurrency. You know, what cryptocurrency is, what it's not, some of the myths behind it. One of the biggest misconceptions is that, cryptocurrency is new. The concept of cryptocurrency has been around since the development of the very first credit card. Credit cards are digital currency, right? Mm-hmm. The US dollar nowadays is essentially a cryptocurrency. When's the last time you bought a house with a dollar bill? or with a handful of dollar bills, right? We all do it digitally through our bank system now. And so, the concept of cryptocurrency is not new, but what is the technology behind it, the decentralization of it, how it's valuated. Most coins, not all the coins, have a finite amount to them. There are coins out there that exist that are like fiat, that they can just add more whenever they want to, and or have so much that it doesn't really add much value to the coin itself. But it's the concept behind it, the decentralization, the finiteness to it. So like Bitcoin, there'll only ever be 21 million Bitcoin, right? Meaning that there's a finite supply. Well, the more people that come online and accept Bitcoin under the laws of supply and demand, the more value it actually has. And so that's why the price of Bitcoin has been fluctuating so much, and because more and more things are coming in to have an effect on it. And more
one thing I think it's interesting about Bitcoin is that you have like one coin, but it can be split into how many parts? Like, what's the maximum number of parts one coin can be split into? Is there a number?
Yeah, that is a great question. So there are 21 million coins that will ever be in existence, right? And that's it's going to take approximately 122 years or so, give or take, depending on how fast the technology continues to advance, to mine the rest of that. But what people don't realize is that Bitcoin has 8 digits, 8 decimal points.
Okay.
And so that means there's actually like 2.1 quadrillion units available, right? Wow. The lowest denomination is called a Satoshi, right? And when one Satoshi is worth $1, then one Bitcoin will be worth $1 million. So it's exciting times. I think that's one of the reasons. Yeah, let that simmer a while, right? And there's so much to it. There's so much to it, and we could talk about this kind of stuff for days.
Right.
And I have.
Well, let's address Mike's comment here. He says, I happen to disagree with the white paper platform. It's all about the value of a token. White paper is too vague and lacking integrity. What's your thought on that?
That is a great comment. Thank you, Mike, for that. Absolutely. So my opinion is the white paper is kind of like a snapshot. Okay. And I think this is one of the biggest things that is missing from the cryptocurrency space right now, is that a white paper should not be the end all. You should not invest solely just off of the white paper. The white paper needs to read well, right? The white paper, in my opinion, is kind of like, here's what we've got going on. This is what we're doing. But ultimately, if you're going to really invest in an ICO, then you need to know who the people are involved. You need to read and understand the white paper. The white paper is like a snapshot, right? And then what's the business plan? That's the biggest thing that's missing from the cryptocurrency space right now, the ICO space, in my opinion, is that everybody's putting up a white paper, but they're not telling you how they're going to get there. They're not developing a business plan to show you A, B, and C and the steps that they're going to take to get there. And I absolutely love that, Mike. I have to agree with you. It's about the value of the token. It's about the team behind it. It's about the business model behind it. And what I would like to see more as we get into the future is ICOs that come along, put together a white paper, and then attach a business plan behind it to show potential investors and Joe public, here's our white paper with all our text, our specs, our roadmap, and so forth. But also, here's our business plan and how we plan on getting there. To me, that would be like full transparency, because now the investors, Joe Public, can say, hey, yeah, gotcha, the white paper is this, but the business plan is this, and you're not keeping track with it. So great comment. I absolutely love that. And I think as ICOs are still fairly new. At any given time throughout the globe, there's about 1,700 ICOs that are going on, and wow. I think that we're just getting started, and I think they're going to evolve over time. And I think as more and more people come online in understanding ICOs, understanding what kind of level of due diligence that they need to do. And before they put money into it, they're going to, I think the market, it will correct itself, and we're going to see more of that demand. So I think ICOs in general are going to evolve over the next 5 to 10 years.
It is an exciting time because we don't really know exactly what's going to happen. And you said yours is all speculation, but yours is speculation on education. I'm off of education because you've been really into this space for quite a while now and doing that due diligence on a daily basis, which I appreciate because I had no idea what you were talking about when I first talked to you. No idea at all. But still, the blockchain thing, I wanted to talk about that just briefly before we head out. But the blockchain technology. So I just want to stress to people to learn about it and keep learning, because it might take you a while. You might not grab hold of it like right away, and that's okay. But keep diving into it until you really understand it. Speak to people like Justin who understand it immensely, and pick their brain and find out what exactly it is, so you can understand what you're looking for when you're doing your own due diligence, right? I think it's really important, right?
Absolutely. And understand that the frauds and scams that exist out there, just like the business was complex before, the amount of frauds and scams that are out there now. I mean, I've lost count. We've got over 100 of frauds and scams that we've identified, right?
Wow.
And just when I thought I've figured them all out, a new one pops up, and it's even more complex. And so having to dive in and dissect the mentality behind it to understand how they're deceiving and so forth. As a matter of fact, I was telling folks, at the conference I just got back from that, I've lost more money in some of these altcoins and ICOs in an attempt to figure them out, because in order to understand how some of these quote unquote opportunities work, sometimes the only way to do that is to get involved and dissect the potential risk to see how they work. We've uncovered some very, very complex frauds and scams that haven't worked. That were there was nothing to them. There was no meat and potatoes to them, but on the surface, everything looks good. And then once you start diving in, it becomes very clear very fast that they're not there. And we've seen them come and go. I mean, we've seen ICOs that have showed up and disappeared within a matter of minutes. They were there for about a week and then they were gone. So good stuff. But dive into the group. That's why we put the cryptocurrency due diligence group together, so people can have a trusted resource of information. There's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt out there. One of my favorites recently is that there was an article that claimed that Bitcoin is soon going to be illegal in every single country, because their argument was that because there could be illegal links, in particular links to child pornography, placed inside the Bitcoin, inside the blockchain, and because this is what their argument was, is that because when you have Bitcoin, then you have a copy of the blockchain on your hard drive or on your wallet, and therefore you have these illegal links on your hardwire on your wallet. Therefore, it'll become illegal because you're not allowed to have that kind of stuff. Well, yeah, it's completely false, because that's not how Bitcoin works. The blockchain exists on the internet, right? And while those kinds of links and images might be able to get inserted into a certain type of blockchain, when you keep Bitcoin on your soft wallet, it doesn't mean you have an entire copy of the blockchain on your hard drive. You have your wallet address and your private keys. You don't have your basic computer is not going to be able to store the entire blockchain.
And that doesn't make sense anyway, because the blockchain is so huge. It takes a lot of computers a
lot of computing power.
Yeah. So that's one of the issues about blockchain, is that it takes so much computing power. That's why it costs a lot of money.
Absolutely.
So let's see. Kristen wanted to know if she has an ICO she thinks is a scam, wants to know if she can share that with you. I'm wondering, should she just put that in the cryptocurrency due diligence Facebook group?
Yeah, post it in the group and ask, hey, is this a scam? Just make sure you don't post an affiliate link. Because if it is, don't want you to get into trouble for that. But two, that's the other thing. That's the one thing I like about our group is we don't allow affiliate links unless it's something that I myself or our firm has vetted. That way, anything that it gets promoted through the website, it's coming from a trusted source.
And then do you, I haven't been looking at everything in the group, but do you post the scams that you come up with, or do you have a white paper on that or anything?
So like I said, currently we've got a list. I've got an additional probably 20 or 30 that we've uncovered that I have not had an opportunity to get to update the list. It's literally, I see probably 5 to 10 new frauds or scams a week.
Wow.
Across your desk. And so, we unfortunately don't have the time to get to all of them, to fully dissect all of them. Because that's the one thing we're very clear about is that first and foremost, we're not out to just come out and outright call something a fraud or a scam, right? That presents a certain level of risk for our own business if we were to do that. More importantly, it doesn't do any good. Because to just come out and say it's a scam doesn't help educate as to why it's a scam. So due diligence, we like to go middle of the road and say, here's the facts and here's why it's a scam, to be able to dissect it down so individual can understand when they see something like that again in the future. They can put it into, does this match this? Does this match this? And so forth. But if you go to cryptocurrencyduediligence.com, you will find a current red flag list of our that we have on the site. So just note it's not fully up to date. So just be aware of that. And we are going to get that updated here soon. So just stay tuned, and we will be adding to that list as fast as we can.
I was to say, you'll never be able to have it fully updated because, like you said, there's 5 or 10 new ones a week. I mean, that's impossible for you to keep up with that. But thanks for doing what you're doing. So I want to send everybody to cryptocurrencyduediligence.com. Go to Justin's website and download the white paper. When you go to the homepage, you'll see the white paper. Go ahead and download that and check it out, see what they have to say. But we're up with our time, Justin. I hate to keep you longer, but so next week we're going to come back. I think, are you available? Because I am.
I should be. I believe I am. Okay. I don't think I'm going anywhere until at least the second week of April. So we're back in Phoenix for some time. So.
Okay, so we should be here next Tuesday at the same time, 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern time, and we'll be talking about cryptocurrency. We'll come up with a topic, but maybe we can we'll put something into the group that maybe we'll do a poll of what would you like us to talk about. Yeah. Oh, that would be a great idea. Perfect. I like that idea. I would like to maybe reveal some of the scams.
You know what? When we first got started, I was cautious at that, but you know what? I'm at the point of let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I've got 2 or 3 that we can go over that I'm very comfortable with and not having any issues calling them out for what they are.
Let's do that then. Let's maybe discuss one each time where you can talk about it, like how you first came about thinking that it might be a scam, what made you go into it, and then it's like those red flags that made you say, well, maybe we should check into this, and then like what did they do well that kind of made it able to hide that they were a scam, and then where did they go wrong?
Yeah,
I don't know, something like that. That would be fun. Yeah,
let's do it.
Okay, you guys, it was going to be exciting. I love the dirt on these people. Okay, so tune in next week, you guys. And again, it's Crypto Convo with Justin Recla of cryptocurrencyduediligence.com. Go to his website, download that white paper today, and we will see you guys next week. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.